Communication. Transfer and understanding of meaning is a key concept of an effective communication. Both communicating sides need to understand each other and clearly pass their messages. Effective communication is only possible when the messages are clear, transparent, and the reason for sending them is convincing. To achieve this can be particularly hard, and all individuals apply a different way when communicating.
Communication is the key to success.
I believe communication is a core leadership function. It's best to firstly be in like a personal one-to-one communication, because if you can motivate your staff that way, then that's the best way to go across.
Communication for me is the success of the business. In these days we need to speak clear, we need to be a good listener, and we have to have a clear instructions in order to achieve what we want to.
Both types of feedback should be done in a positive manner, both from the recipient and the person giving that feedback. It should be done honest, authentic, it needs to be real, and it needs to be done in a timely fashion.
So I usually always promote positive feedback if it's come from higher above. I usually don't bring the negative factors. If we've been given negative information, I don't necessarily pass it on to the employees, because that's not going to positively move the bit of operation forwards. Because if you get a negative, it's not always necessarily a good thing.
We communicate the employees in different manners. The more common is daily basis, in a one-to-one and face-to-face. We're very open. We have open doors. Then also we use Yammer, who is a network social media. We use the canteen, and then also we use, as I said, the one-to-one. If there is any difference between the communication between provide the positive and the negative feedback, for the positive feedback is very easy, because we always, obviously, positive is always happening. With the negative, we use something what we call a sandwich. So we work for something very positive, then we include the negative, and then we finish it up with something positive, because in the end of the day, the feedback has to be a positive.
During a one-to-one meeting, or you've got access to email function to present any ideas. Managers are approachable to listen. You've also got the ideas box around the communication zone.
So they can speak directly to the shift managers or the section leaders, myself. If you don't feel that you can go through that way, there is a way in Travis Perkins that you call You Talk, We Listen, which is going on for the next month, and then you put forward ideas, etc., to the senior management, and hopefully they'll listen to what's going on. There's also different opportunities where some of the directors come in and they'll ask you different questions. Recently we've put out like a little ideas box as well, outside the canteen, as well as I think there's a board now that's being put up soon that you can write down your ideas, or your maybe not ideas as such, but things that need to be improved that you can't say directly to people.
So the channel what we have in here in Novotel Milton Keynes, we have various. And the more common, once again, is a face-to-face with the manager. So the main key is the employee go to the manager with the idea. So the idea is approved. Then the employee make an SOP, system in place that how to put it in place, and then after that we can see how is the performance. The more important thing is to have something to be measured.
Now we're going to be discussing the barriers to communication. Okay. The deliberate manipulation of information, emotions which can influence the information exceeds the processing capacity, defensiveness, language, national culture, and surrounding area.
There's no barriers. Effective communication is how you speak to people, giving them an opportunity to respond and listen.
Barriers for effective communication within this warehouse could necessarily be language barriers. Is that the question you kind of ask? Yeah, that's one of the major factors that you may have a breakdown in effective communication within the warehouse, is usually language barriers. Myself, I don't tend to have a problem speaking with the staff. If there's someone that doesn't necessarily understand something, I'll speak to another member of staff that maybe speaks the same language that can kind of communicate it the right way.
I personally think that the more the barrier of the communication firstly is that we do not have a clear communication, either for language, or either for do not be a listener, either for do not set up a clear objective. If we are a good listener, half of this situation in the normal circumstances is disappear.
Motivation is the process in which the employee's efforts are aimed at accomplishing goals. Managers usually look for a high level of motivation in their employees. When employees are motivated, they tend to be more engaged, creative, and more adjust to their job conditions. Now we're going to be discussing the main theories of motivation. The first one is known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. In this theory, Maslow stated that each level in this hierarchy needs to be fulfilled in order to move to the level above. Physiological and safety needs ended up on the lower level, but all needs above that, like love, belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization, were considered on the higher level of needs, and they should be satisfied internally. Douglas McGregor came up with two different theories, Theory X and Theory Y. He stated that there are two assumptions about human nature. Theory X is the more negative theory that states people do not like their jobs, and they are controlled, corrected, directed, and treated with punishment to encourage them to work. However, Theory Y is a positive theory. It says employees are motivated to work and gain satisfaction from their jobs. People are creative, ambitious, responsible, and want to be more challenging. They even have cooperative relationships with their managers and employees.
So it's giving the colleagues the tools to do the job, to celebrate success, to understand them on a personal basis, so that you know whether the colleague is in a good frame of mind or needs that extra bit of support.
I motivate my employees by telling them how I've done on the previous days. I'll tell them what exactly the business is doing, how it's going to affect them in the future, how they're going to be. I'll basically tell them what they need to know to make the operation move forward, but I'll also reward them if they've done well. But I'll always if they've been working hard, I'll always make sure that I tell them that they've done well.
How do I motivate my team? Is very nice and easy. We put objectives mainly in terms of quality. Then we create some challenges that the team needs to achieve, and then I offer the opportunity to learn. I offer the opportunity to do trainings, and they do the self-training also, so we are very open. And in a nutshell is make them happy.
So reward and recognition, it could be an additional break, it could be highlighting an outstanding piece of work, it could be nominating them for Colleague of the Month or putting their name forward for project work.
So there's probably free meals. We give free meals. That doesn't necessarily happen often, but then you get extra breaks. You get obviously different. You get the colleague parties. Obviously that's rewarding, and it brings up the moral spirit of the employees.
Here in Novotel Milton Keynes, we do motivation in different ways. So we offer money when we can, or we offer something economical, but we don't have these resources. So we do lunches with the team. We do the employee of the month, what is the best the best employee of the month, and then we offer them chocolates or things like that. We do open tables so that the team can share ideas, they can say whatever they think. One of the more important things, I think, is to be part of groups. So we have already created a new group of Well-Be, and there are a few people that are involved. We have different groups with different people, and then like this they auto-motivated, and we motivate.
The fear of failure, the working environment not being suitable, the amenities not being pleasable for the colleague.
Especially in my area, if we're struggling and if we're failing as a team, I'll make sure that I get involved as well. So I'll motivate the team, make sure it goes forward like that.
For me, it's very easy to say. I mean, there are two things in there, and then most of the people are coming from. They want to work and they need more hours. And the studies say that the more difficulties is the salaries. So the salaries in hospitality is not the greatest.
Now we're going to be talking about what exactly empowerment is. Empowerment is a process of passing responsibility and autonomy to individuals at a lower level in organizational hierarchy. Empowerment can be an effective motivator because it allows employees to feel that they have power to control and influence an environment within an organization. Empowering employees can make them more satisfied and their level of stress can decrease.
It's the best motivator because it demonstrates trust, it gives good leadership to them, it allows them to perform using their own skills rather than being told what to do.
We empower the team to have decisions. It's nothing good, it's nothing bad, so if something is not well done, then we will learn how to do good things. But the more important thing, we empower to have decisions and to make things different, and just to go with the main goal, which is we are very guest orientated, so the main point is the end of the result is to make them happy.
%100%.
100%. Simple as that.
Of course, everyone needs to be treated equal. Treating them differently will disengage the colleague, not make them feel part of the wider team, and they won't enjoy the successful moments as well as those harder periods.